This video will preview features coming out in our 9/27/2020 release of Striven, and all of the features presented here revolve around accounting. Let's begin at the AR settings. To find the AR settings, click Company, Settings, Accounting, AR, and then Settings. Within the AR settings, we've added the option for auto pay settings. So if we scroll down, we have the payments area. In the Process Auto Pay On section, you can choose whether to process auto pay on the due date or the invoice date by clicking the radio. You can also manage exceptions now, and this is a new release coming out on 9/27. By clicking Manage Exceptions, you can add customers who won't follow the radio button you've chosen, but the opposite, in this case, the invoice date. So by clicking here, I can add a customer from my drop-down to add to the exceptions list for auto pay. And then when I click Close, I will now have two customers that will follow the opposite rule of what I've chosen here. By clicking Save, you can save your changes, and your customers in the exceptions will now follow the rule as described in bold. The next feature being released is a new permission revolving around credit memos. To view permissions, scroll up to the top and click Employees and Rules underneath the Security section. First, let's click into a user role that we want to edit a permission for. The permission will be for creating checks. So here, let's click into the accounting role. And now in the search function name, I'm going to search for check. So the permission checks add edit will now include the permission to create refund checks. This is for if you're creating a credit memo and you're issuing a refund via check. This permission will now either allow or deny the user's ability to create those refund checks. Blue means that they do have the permission, white means that they do not. Our next accounting feature revolves around invoice printable formats. So let's find an invoice by clicking Accounting and Transactions. Next, in the type, I'm going to uncheck all and only choose invoices, and then clicking Search. I will find all the invoices in my system. I'll click on an invoice, and I'm going to download the printable format by clicking the Print button at the very top. This will download a PDF version of the invoice, and it will download somewhere on your browser. What we're instituting is that the PDF version will show the invoice number rather than the invoice ID, which is shown in the URL. So now if I click on the invoice, you'll see I have the invoice number here in the merge field. The final feature coming out related to accounting revolves around the P&L comparison report. So let's go back into our system and scroll to the top. To find the P&L comparison report, click Reports, Financials, and then P&L Comparison. Here you can add a new P&L comparison report by clicking Add Report. You can name your comparison report, and then in the Show Columns you can either choose for totals, you can divide things up by week, month, quarter, or year. Let's do quarter. And then in my time period, I'm going to select a time period down here that fits my needs. So let's do year to date. And then I'm going to add a comparison. And my comparison type, since I'm doing budget versus actuals, will be my budget. And then I can select my budget that I want to compare. And then I have the options to include percent and dollar difference. And when I choose Save and Run, I'll be able to see the comparison as noted here. Now the option that we've added to the P&L comparison is the option to include filter by week or include month, quarter, or year. And that's a look at all the features coming out revolving around accounting that will be included on our September 27th, 2020 release of Striven.